With Arteta struggling at Arsenal, today I look at how he will do at Arsenal Football Club according to Football Manager. How much will he win? Will he be sacked? When will he be sacked? Will he turn to a good manager? And will all these signings he brought flourish? With over 100 million spent this season, will this help him? Let's find out. So I won't cover this too much because it is covered in my Premier League sim. But Arsenal apparently finished fourth. You might say bollocks. I say it's football. Anything can happen. But I know Arsenal fans will be chuffed with this to be in top four, to get European football. Not only European football, which they don't have currently at all. Champions League football. So if Arteta did do that, that would be absolutely fantastic. I mean, it isn't with the most points, 69, obviously a far off the other three, but a good season nonetheless. You got the likes of Aubameyang scoring 17 goals, 6 assists over the season. Lacazette with 12, Saka with 7 and 2 assists. Smith Rowe 5 goals, 4 assists, really well for the young player. Pepe 4 and 2, Odegaard 4 and 7. So get a good idea here of how they did. We'll see if they got anything in the cups as well. So the Carabao Cup beating Portsmouth, losing to Brentford, so that was a no-go. FA Cup third round, losing to United as well, so a bit depressing. So no luck in the cups, knocked out of the Carabao and the FA Cup early, and obviously didn't have Europe, so maybe that's why they did so well. You know, distractions were gone by January. Any other distractions were gone. No Europe. And they could just concentrate on the league and get some points. So we won't spend too much time on this season because next season is going to be the interesting one now they're back in Champions League football. And we know Arteta has succeeded and he's done well. So he's obviously got his players playing well, lots of goals, high up in the league. Champions League football, absolutely incredible for Arsenal fans. So let's see how he does next season. We move on to season 2 where Arsenal could not get top 4 with Liverpool, City, United and Chelsea all getting it. But you know, they were only 4 points off, they weren't miles off, and they've still got Europa League football for next year. So not bad for Arsenal. At least they're getting in Europa now, and they are climbing the table. They're not finishing 8th anymore. So a really good season for Arsenal. Arteta's still in the job, as we could see. In terms of players, we could see Aubameyang 19 goals, 8 assists, so he's still scoring. And this looks like a breakout season for Saka. 15 goals, 8 assists. Lacazette 12 goals, 3 assists. Odegaard 10 goals, 5 assists. Smith Rowe 10 goals, 9 assists. Another one who is growing significantly. We've got Callum McGregor with 5 and 8, and Barkley with 5 and 2. Martinelli with 5 goals. So we can see the likes of Smith Rowe coming through really well. He looks really good for 21. And also Saka, I think he's 21 too. Oh, he's 20 actually, and he looks really good. He's getting a lot of goals now. So they actually brought a lot of players in January that I didn't notice, but they brought in Ross Barkley for 22 million. A good player, good passer, really aggressive, likes to drive forward. You got Callum McGregor, who is again a good midfielder from Celtic. How good he is in the Prem, I don't know. Kazawa for left back, good signing. And they had Jorginho on loan, and then they brought him after. You know, a very, very good midfielder, obviously older, but very experienced. You know, he's won the Euros, won the Champions League. He was actually player of the tournament, I think, as well. So absolutely fantastic. So they did do some good deals and obviously securing Jorginho in the summer. And then they also brought the Ambrosio from Inter, who is a really good right back as well. Fantastic player. Brian Rodriguez, who is a winger from Uruguay, and also Nordi, who's from Leipzig, a centre back, good centre back as well, good stats, tackling 16, pace 16, fast, good defence, decent marking, heading not amazing, but everything else fantastic, and he has a lot of room to grow at 24, still not in his prime yet. So it looks like Arsenal, you know, I mean, They've had that first season, they've not been focusing on Europe. They've come through and they've secured it with a lot of good signings. They got rid of El Neni, they got rid of Bellerin, they got rid of Mari, Holding, Xhaka, Kolasinac, Niles. So, you got Bellerin out, you got D'Ambrizo in, you got a centre back in, you got a centre back out, you've got Jorginho in, and Xhaka out. So, really competent business by Arsenal. Surprisingly competent. And Arteta's, turned it round. He's brought in amazing players. I mean, how realistic is this? Questionable. But, done really well. It's looking like he could be in the job for a long time with how he's going. We can see how they did in the Cup as well. Did they win anything? Champions League, they were in Group A. They finished second. They had a hard group. They had Rangers, Lazio, and PSG. So I wouldn't be too harsh on them for not winning that. They beat Rangers and Lazio, drew against PSG both times and Rangers. So do you know what? To actually not get beat by PSG at all, and a nice thriller game 3-3, and just to draw to Rangers, that's pretty good. I mean, he scored. You had Saka, Barkley, Aubameyang, McGregor, Saka. So Saka's been unbelievable this season. So a good start in the Champions League. They then had a knockout round against Milan. They won 3-1. Martinelli, Barkley, and Nelson scoring. The second leg they drew 2-2, so through comfortably. Aubameyang and Odegaard scoring there. They then played Porto, who they beat 1-0. Smith Rowe scoring. They then lost 1-0 at home, but they won on penalties. So, again, going through to the semi, good achievement. Had Juventus, it's 1-1. Smith Rowe scoring. So we can see how good Smith Rowe and Saka are becoming, especially. Did lose to Juventus, Saka scoring again. Not a bad opposition to lose against. A semi-final for Arsenal would be fantastic. I think if you put Arsenal in the Champions League this season, they could get easily beat 8-2 by a Bayern again, or something ridiculous 5-1. So to compete, to do well, to get to a semi after not being in it for years, absolutely fantastic by Arteta. FA Cup third round, won against Accrington, Hull beat, and then they lost to Liverpool. Again, not a bad team to lose against. So didn't win anything, but did fantastic, brought in really good players, and they're looking like a strong team who can compete again. So well done to Arteta. We'll move on to the next season and see how they get on. So in season 3, Arteta brought in quite a few players, and some quite surprising one. It almost feels like Chelsea becoming Arsenal's feeder club, which is a very strange thing to come across. We've got Billy Gilmore, who's only 21, highly rated youngster. Could turn out to be really good. So let's get him for 2 million. Pretty good. Pedro Porro from City, right back. He looks decent. Got Rodri de Paul, who is a 29-year-old centre mid. Really good passing, good vision. Not a bad player at all. Elite attacking midfielder. There you go. Says all you need to know. So really good signings from Arsenal. We've got Chelsea's ex-captain, 3.9 million rather than 4.9. Bit of an odd one, 33. I could never see this happen in real life, but you know what? He's a very experienced player and he brings a lot to the club. Tackling 16, teamwork 17, leadership 18. That's a big one. Really good mental stats, and to bring an experienced player like that in would be absolutely fantastic. Unlikely, but fantastic. And a striker from Zenit, Iranian striker, Sardar, who I've not heard of actually, but he looks pretty decent. Good finishing, decent pace. I presume he's just a backup. So, not bad. Holding's gone, Torreira's gone. So, again, a competent business, getting out of the dead wood and doing well. Unfortunately, I've discovered Arteta was actually sacked this season, which is very sad. He was apparently sacked in March, Arteta terminated his contract due to club's poor league positioning. FA Cup winning with Arsenal, yeah, fantastic that was. They were lying in ninth place at the time, which isn't horrific, but obviously not fantastic. Obviously, ninth isn't fantastic, but he did win the FA Cup for them. He did get them back to Champions League football in this sim as well. I mean, they're on about a Brentford loss in 2020 being brought up, in 2023 after some disappointments. I mean, bit harsh, but I mean, I guess bringing up something from a few years ago when he actually took it to a decent level. So what we'll do, we've got Martino apparently in. So we'll look at a few things. We'll see the fixture up until Arteta's departure. We'll have a look at the players and how they've done, who brought in, and what the sort of lineup is now. And see the impact he brought to Arsenal in this sim. For me, it wouldn't be unrealistic for Arteta to be sacked this season, or next season, or one after. So, I mean, I think he will be sacked. But if he actually brought this impact that we can see in this save, I mean, he would be a really key man in actually bringing Arsenal back to something competent and strong. I mean, by the lineup, we've got Saka, who's been fantastic, as we've seen, Martinelli and Nelson. We've got Odegaard, Gilmour, two young players, Jorginho, Gabriel, two strong centre-backs, Porro, Tierney, Leno. We've also got other players, Smith Rowe, Barkley, and many others. So, he's actually created a really, really good squad, as we've seen. So let's see the results up to his demise. They were in the Europa League. They won that 6 out of 6. Again, so in Group C, it looks like they've actually brought in Martial, who scored 4 goals. So a good signing for Arsenal. I mean, he's not elite, but he's a fantastic level of player, and I think he'll do really well at a smaller club. So Odegaard, Martinelli. Just it looks like Martinelli's coming to the fray. Martial, Odegaard again. So Martial, absolute fantastic signing. So they got through the group fine. That led them to a knockout round against Getafe, which they did lose, which would have been very, very disappointing. I think this is where they got knocked out, this sort of area as well. They were knocked out the Euro Cup by Getafe 2-1. Quite disappointing, obviously not at the level of Arsenal, so to lose there, disappointing. And they then got beat in the FA Cup. A hard opposition in Liverpool, but to be knocked out of 2 cups and to be in 9th, I could see why they would have sacked him. I mean, they didn't do anything else after, so they didn't really redeem much, and they ultimately finished in 7th, so got a bit of form back, got into the top, top 7. They have conference football that I don't think they'd enjoy, to be honest, but I guess it's something. Just a bad spell, didn't get enough points in the Prem, knocked out of 2 cups in 1 month, and that left them with nothing to play for the end of the season, really, apart from trying to get back into Europe. So I guess the plan was sack Arteta and bring in another manager to try and save the end of the season. But in this sim, Arteta's done fantastically well. Did he win anything? No. But he got Arsenal in the Champions League for the first time in years. He got them significantly higher up the table than they have been in years. He also got all the deadwood. He got rid of Xhaka, Chambers, all these players that shouldn't be there. Mari. He brought in all these amazing players. You got that Leipzig centre back. You got Barkley, Jorginho. You got Martial. Absolutely fantastic players they've brought in and signed. He's left the club in a much, much better place than he found it. And if he actually did this, I would rate him as a manager because that is a fantastic job. So any Arsenal fans watching, I think you'd hope and praying this is the way Arteta's career goes at Arsenal. And maybe he'll turn it around, and maybe these young signings he brought will, they'll come through. They'll make him look a lot more competent. This window looks bad now, but if Ramsdale starts to play well, he's the number 1. If White becomes really good and he's number 1 centre back, it can be a lot better than it looks now. So let me know below where you think Arteta's going to finish this season and how his career is going to plan out, when you think he's going to get sacked, if you think he'll win anything, and the signings he might make. Let me know any of that below and I'll reply to you all. Please like and subscribe. We're growing this community well, and I want you all to be part of it. Thank you all for watching.